Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Jason. I'm a Course in Miracle student and a channeler, and I'm coming on today for a daily dose of hope. Sorry, day 53. And the daily dose of hope is something that my guides guided me to do because the energies of on the earth are getting wackier and wackier, and so yeah, they said if you want to just come on and give a daily dose of hope, and that's what I'm doing, trying to give a daily dose of hope. And So, greetings from Japan at about what 8 o'clock, almost 9 o'clock at night. Yep. And let's see. Um, Nice to see you again, and nice to meet you. And what I'd like to talk about today is just about clearing spaces and knowing your energy, and a little bit about the Course in Miracles, a little bit about something that I just read, and it kind of like shocked me a bit, but then it was also a good shock, I guess, in a sense. Um, and what else did I want to say? Um, no, that's it. And then we're going to do channeling. Okay. So, first of all, I've talked about this many times, but one of my workplaces, one of the places where I teach guitar is, it's in this building in the middle of town. It's kind of like in a rundown part of town. And like the building itself is kind of like there are some businesses that are there that I'm not quite sure about. Like they're advertising one thing, but I don't know what's going on. So it's kind of like one of those buildings. And I've had an experience, the past few years since I've been working there. I think I started working there 2018 or so. And it's a place where like you could be walking outside and feeling like just a wonderful feeling. You're just like, yeah, it's such a beautiful day. And then you walk into that building, and then all of a sudden you just feel this overwhelming sense of sadness. And so that was my I yeah. um since I've become aware of emotions, I think I was always aware, but not aware in the sense that I was actively paying attention to them. So that place is a very strong vibe, in that sense, sad vibe. And so I had been clearing it out. I think I've talked about this many times. So if you've heard this, yeah, just maybe skip over it. Um, but the scene in the movie Ghost with Patrick Swayze, I think it was, and Whoopi Goldberg, maybe. And but anyway, in the story, Whoopi Goldberg is a channeler. She's a psychic, but she isn't a psychic. She's pretending. She's like kind of like a fraud, or yeah, whatever, something like that, pretending. And and then she starts seeing things. She starts seeing ghosts, and then she gets freaked out because they start lining up. There's like just a line of spirits like waiting to talk to her because they all have their stories and they want them to be heard. And that's the story. But it's similar to that. That's what I was doing in that building. I had lines and lines of people that I was talking to, and clearing the energy. And so that was what was happening there. And I thought I cleared it all. Like I thought it was okay, because usually when I go there now, it's not that bad. But today I went there and I was not feeling, I was feeling like kind of a normal feeling. No ups and downs. But then as soon as I got into the place, it was just like this heavy sadness. But it wasn't, the funny thing about it, I was noticing I was kind of feeling around the sadness, because it's important just to feel what is it? What is this feeling? And it wasn't a hopeless sadness, which was interesting. Like that there are hopeful sadnesses. It wasn't a hopeful sadness, and it wasn't a hopeless sadness. It was just a sadness, but it didn't have that hopelessness to it, like that end of the world sadness. So, I don't know, whatever that means. And so I talked to my guides, and they said, yeah, there's still yeah, there's still some spirits that need some help. And so, but I didn't have a lot of time because I had my lessons coming in. I had to practice and stuff. So I just I thought I just, I can only do one session today. So I did the session with this woman who had already passed. And so I did a clearing session there. And the funny, it's not funny, but the interesting thing about it was, like, as soon as I did the clearing session, like the energy just it just picked up, and it was just back to just a normal energy. It wasn't that sad energy anymore. And the reason that I'm bringing up this story is because what I've been learning over the past few years is that it's really, really important to understand your emotions, like what you're feeling and why you're feeling what you're feeling. So, for example, today I wasn't like, in my life, there could be things that I could think of as sad, but I'm not. in that place. Just okay, these are the things that are happening in my life, and I'm dealing with those emotions, and so just to feel sad all of a sudden doesn't really compute with what's going on. And so then that's when you realize, like, oh, this is not my emotion. I'm just picking up on an emotion. And the good part about this discernment is that you don't get stuck in those emotions, because some places can be very dense, and you could go to that place and then think it's yours, and then it could ruin your day, it could ruin your week, whatever. And then you could get really sad, and then you could bring that sadness to other people. So I mean, we're very, very sensitive to emotions. We are emotional creators. And so that was what I wanted to say about that. It's how it's really important to be aware of your emotions, especially now that the energies are picking up a lot more. So that, for example, so I'm working on this channeling book, and it's taking me longer than I thought it would. But in the book, we are talking about discernment. And one of the lessons that they talk about is discerning things in the news. So when you watch a news broadcast, like, for example, a mass media news broadcast, or even an alternative media broadcast, and just feel the emotion. What emotion are they projecting out? Feel into it. And it's a really interesting practice. So look into like, on the surface, what is the message? And then what is the emotion behind it? And so I found this is a really interesting practice to do. And then I don't know, I don't want to go into too in depth with this, but I'm just going to speak vaguely about it, because I don't want to go in. I'm still kind of processing some things about this. But the second thing I wanted to talk about is um, that what I've learned from my amazing teacher, and her direct quote from her, she always says that the dark serves the light. And so this idea that the dark serves the light is a very, very important tool in discerning and looking at things in the around the world, because our final goal is forgiveness. Right, our final goal isn't to, like, have all the darkness revealed and say, oh, that is such a horrible darkness, I'm going to destroy all of the darkness, let's bomb the darkness, it's like, no, 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 no. That's where everyone goes wrong. That's not the point. The point is to see it and to go through the emotions. Of course, you see something that is very dark, and you're just like, what is that? Why would someone do that? What is and then you go through all those emotions, and then you have to kind of understand where it's coming from. And also that it's reflecting something in you, because there's a reason why you saw it, and and there is a part of you inside of that, that might be reflected. And so always understand that there is always a lesson to be learned from all of these things, and that the final point, the final step, is the forgiveness, which is the most difficult part. And so I wanted to talk about that there are things in our world, that have been, I think, for example, like the whole, the new age movement, right, was in a sense infiltrated back in the 80s, and still I'm sure there's a lot of infiltration going on. And that's fine, because it's important for us to be aware of our emotions. What are we feeling? Are we resonating with this? Is it resonating with you? If it's not, then don't listen to it. That's very important, especially now, in this time. And if something is really resonating with you, then that's great. And if you're getting something positive from it, that's great. So I think that's the whole idea. That so, for example, a lot of I think the Hathors were talking about this. A lot of musicians that are very, very famous musicians sometimes are projecting frequencies that are not the best frequencies out there. And this is by design. And but that being said, they are also human, and then they are able to get out sometimes these amazing messages. And so, yeah, that's as far as I want to go with that one. But yeah, just to understand that there is always the yin and yang within everything, and that's the best way to look at everything. So from that standpoint, and also from the standpoint that you're here to forgive. You're here to experience, and to see everything as the story that it is, and experience it, and to forgive it in the end. Because once you judge it, you become it. And so that's where we kind of are at. That's what I wanted to say. I'm being a little bit what's the word, obtuse and abstract. I'm sorry, but I'm not ready to kind of put it into actual, you know, words yet, of what they are. But maybe you can read between the lines. I'm not sure. I'm a pretty obvious guy. I try to be kind of abstract, but I'm pretty, pretty simple. But anyway, let me get into the channeling, and we'll ask the guides if they have anything to add about this idea of discernment, or what they would like us to know for today. There we go. Hmm. Greetings. We are the one that you know of as Mary Magdalene, and we are here with you tonight, your tonight in this world, your morning, your afternoon, your middle of the night. We are here with you, experiencing this energy with you, sharing this energy with you, sharing this amazing experience that you are all having on this planet, this experience of learning what everything is there for. And as you progress along this path, you will be surprised at the many things you see. And as this being is talking about, this is very important, that when you see things on your path that you are surprised by, take in that feeling, understand that feeling. Why are you surprised? What is it that you were expecting? What is it that you were not expecting? And then what is the emotion that is attached to this? This is very, very important for you as creators, to be able to separate yourself from your emotions and to understand that the only emotion, which is not an emotion in the sense that other things are emotions, because emotions in a sense are, we would say, illusions. But the only true emotion is the emotion of love, which is not an emotion. And so that you are love creating on this planet. You are love creating your amazing lives on this planet, creating everything that happens to you. Everything that you see is a part of your projection. And this is a mass projection that you are doing all throughout the planet. And if you're not aware that you are projecting, then you tend to operate under your emotions. And your emotions have no brain, they don't have a brain, and they don't know what they're doing. They are just emotions. And so you are relying on something that has no logic and that will throw you up against the storms, up against the rocks and the storms, and will shatter your boats, and will leave you for nothing, because the emotions themselves have no brain. They don't understand. They are not understanding. You are using a tool. The emotions are tools. It is if you are using a hammer and you are trusting the hammer to do everything for you. The hammer is just a tool. It is just a tool that it enables you to do certain things and to create things. And that is the same with the emotions. So it is very, very important for you to separate from your emotions, especially now as things are starting to build up and heat up on your planet, and you'll start to see more emotions starting to rise up. And as they do, understand that these are just emotions and that they are things that you can feel. And we are not saying that you have to ignore your emotions. Far from that. We are saying to explore the emotions. When you feel an emotion, explore it. Go up and down and around, all in the emotion. Feel, what is it made of? Understand it. And then once you understand it and feel it, let it go. But ask questions to it too. Ask it, where did it come from? Is it mine? Is it yours? Whose is it? Did I create this? Did someone else create it? What was it created for? There are many questions that you can ask. And this is the process of learning about your emotions and learning how to create with them. You see, a lot of your world was created by those who understand this process of how you create with your emotions. And that is why you are so ruled by your emotions, because that makes you easier to control. Once you are able to separate yourself from your emotions, then it makes it easier for you to control your life and to create beauty in your life. And also, it makes it more and more difficult for those that would like to control your emotions to do so, because you start to realize, that is not my emotion. And that is our message today, a message of discernment and a message of understanding where you start and where you end, and where others start and where others end. And understand that as you are in separation, and this is part of the lesson of separation, but understand that in truth and in reality, you are all one. But at this moment, you are in this projection, And so when you're in this projection, as they say, when in Rome, and so you are in Rome and you have this image of separation. So, in this image of separation, this is a beautiful thing that you can do to understand these emotions because these are here for you to learn about. They are not available in other realms. These are magical gifts that are given to you that you can explore. And a lot of you are exploring these emotions and understanding that by exploring these emotions and understanding them and mastering them, you are saving so much of the world and so much of the universe. And we are Mary Magdalene. Mm. All right. Hey, Maria. Nice to see you too. Um, so yeah, thank you guys very much for joining in. And I'm gonna go eat dinner. And hope you guys have a wonderful day, night, afternoon, and I hope you're I hope you're hopeful. So, all right. So hopefully I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Maria, it was good to see you, and hopefully I'll catch you again. It's very random the timing, but so, but ciao for now, and hopefully see you tomorrow. Ciao.